Hi, I'm Kathy Olson. I'm the Adult Services Librarian at the Waynesville Library. And today, for our project, we have a guest artist. One of our employees here at the library, Ashley Zander, is going to teach you how to paint on glass.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashley, and today we are going to be painting this beautiful snowman and trees with sparkling Christmas lights inside. So the materials you're going to need for this activity is a wine bottle. It doesn't matter if it's flat or has bumps on it, that's okay, it will still turn out good. And we're going to use acrylic paint for this, so you'll be needing black, white, green, and orange. Don't forget a small to medium-sized brush, and then you'll also need a cup of water, a placemat, some towels or paper towels, and then a hair dryer to speed up the dry time for when you're painting. And then you'll also need a spray acrylic gloss sealer, which you'll spray when you're finally done so your paint will not chip off. So let's get to it. I'm going to start with this one, and I want the embellish to be in the front. We're going to start with our white paint, and we are going to paint about 1/3 of the lower part of the bottle. This is where the snow will be, where the snowman is sitting on. So I'm going to do it about right here and just paint all the way around it to the bottom. Don't layer on too much paint as it will just wipe off. Just do one layer, a thin layer, and wait for it to dry, and we can just add more. Once you have finished the bottom part of your bottle, notice how the more layers you do, I did this one with many layers, you can't see the light shine through. If you want it to stay thin like this, that's okay too. While this is drying, we're just going to leave it and figure out where we want to put our snowman. I want to put the snowman right here where there is no embellishment. So we're just going to start with a little circle for the bottom of the snowman. He can be as tall or as short as you want him to be. This one's going to be a very, very tall snowman. And his head is going to be an oval shape because he is looking upwards. But you could always make it a circle. It really doesn't matter, as long as you have a happy little snowman. So you can still see the lines, the paintbrush marks. We are going to let that dry and then paint over it. While that's drying, we're going to paint this bottom part again so it makes a thick white solid color. We are going to work on the snowman and the snow before we start doing the trees to put on top of the snow. So let's add more layers. I painted the bottom layer again, and I like this thickness of the white, but I feel like the snowman could be a bit more white. Also, if you do make tiny little mistakes, as long as you wipe it off right away, it'll be okay. So I'm going to do one more layer on that snowman and see if that's the right amount of paint. So I just finished painting my snowman, and I like this density. It looks good, so I'm going to leave it to dry, and we are going to start painting the trees. So go ahead and rinse your brush and get out your green. You can go ahead and look up some reference photos if you want certain types of trees, or you can just wing it along with us. Okay, so we're going to start with the trees in the background first, and then work our way to the trees in the foreground. So it doesn't matter what size or shape they are. We just gonna wing it. Now, like most evergreens and most Christmas trees, they're just pointy, and then they go out more towards the bottom. And it doesn't matter if you put it on your snowman, we can cover that back up later. You'll just mostly want the top half since there's going to be lots of little trees underneath it. Now this is not very opaque at all, it's very clear, so we are going to just do multiple trees have them dry, and then do multiple layers again. Make short brush strokes down and out to the side. So I got an idea in the foreground where I want the trees, but just focus on the ones in the background, and we'll wait for them to dry and then add more layers. Alright, so these don't look like trees at all, but we're just going to keep adding layers. Make it pointy on top and just keep going down. Remember, not a lot of thick paint, or else it will wipe off what you previously had. Just a little bit of paint. If you notice that you've already got a good shape of your tree defined but want to cover it up really quickly to get more paint, just make random paint strokes. They don't have to be the shape of the tree. We're just filling in this area so it's all green. The same applies to the bottom of the tree. On the white snow, it's going to be a little lighter because it's over white, so we can just put a bunch of paint on top of that to make it a little bit darker. Again, do it in a thin layer and don't just clump it on, or else it's going to brush off like that. So if we need a lot of green there, just cover it up, and when we put the white on the trees, we'll be able to see more the shape of the tree instead of a big green blob. Alright, now while we wait for the trees to dry in the back, we are going to paint the front of the snowman. And his face is oval because it is facing upwards, so if you want his nose to point down or to the side, that's perfectly fine, but this nose is going to be upwards. So we are going to get our black and our orange. Now, I have a smaller paintbrush. I hope you guys do too. This little snowman has buttons. He can also have a hat or a scarf. You can add anything. Do not paint the snowman arms until you have finished painting the trees and putting the white layers on it. So I am not going to paint his arms yet, but I will finish painting the rest of his face. And I'm going to paint the nose before I paint the eyes, just so I can get his nose centered. Now to make it carrot shaped, just make it round at the bottom and have it just point straight up. And you might have to add a few layers of orange as well. But I like that. I don't think I'm going to add another layer. It's pretty thick already. That's creepy looking now. Okay. And now we have his face. All right. So now, if you think your trees look good, you can leave them, or if you want to do more layers. I think these trees are good, so I'm going to go ahead and put the snow on top, and then we'll finish the snowman's arms, and we're almost done. Okay, now we're still using the thin brush for the trees. We're going to think of Mount Everest. There's going to be white on the top, and then it just branches out towards the sides and the bottom. Another way to do it is just paint snow on top of each branch. And figure out which trees are in the foreground and the background. You don't want to get confused and paint the wrong tree. So I'm going to paint this one on top of that green right here. You can also put some in the middle of the tree or just on the sides. These trees could have no snow at all. It is completely up to you. Alright, so with the tree next to the snowman, we're going to just lightly cover him up. Put a little bit of snow on top. And if you feel like you put too much white snow on your trees, you can always take green and fill in the trees again. Although if the white isn't dry, it will just create a light green and you'll have two different colored trees. But you can always wait for it to dry, fill it in with green, and start over with white. Now it is not easy to paint on glass, so I hope you all are very impressed with yourselves for getting this far. Alright, let's paint the arms. Alright, so like on this snowman, we're just going to paint a circle and then a line extending up. I'm going to put it roughly in the middle of his body where I think a snowman would have arms. It doesn't have to be straight, it could be off to the side. Make sure your trees are dry before you do that. And if it's not a solid line, you can just go over it very lightly. Okay, so we have some wild arms on the snowman. And now with the same black, we are going to do the tree trunks. So some of them can be visible, some don't have to be visible. Remember, the trees in the back are smaller, so technically their trunk should be smaller than the ones in the front. Basically, we're just going to make little rectangles under there. And your trees don't have to have stumps, but they can be short and stubby, or they can be longer like these. Once you feel like your bottle is finished, you can add in the twinkle lights. So it looks like there's snowflakes, and you can see how the colors finally turned out. Now if you want your bottle to last longer and not be scratched or have the paint come off, we're going to spray it with this clear acrylic gloss. Read the instructions very carefully. Spray at least up to a foot away. Do it outside when there is no wind. Just 1 or 2 layers will do. Once it's dry, it is ready to be safely set somewhere as a decoration. For written instructions, please visit our website, and if you have any questions, please email me at the link below. Thank you for watching this video, and congratulate yourself for being able to paint on glass.